journalists, good morning. Let's start by saying thank you very much for making time to be with us here this morning. For me, it's a great delight to be at home. Unfortunately, I normally don't get the opportunity to be with colleagues when they are in the field. And so I miss the honor and pleasure of getting to meet with journalists who are doing the great works in the field. And so that is why I am particularly happy that I got the opportunity to be part of this program this morning. And I'm grateful that representatives of two great institutions have also agreed and managed to be with us this morning, the NCCE, which I often describe as the most important institution for our democracy, but often ignored in terms of resources. And of course, the National Peace Council, which is doing all the work to keep our democracy in our country stable and peaceful. We are here today and tomorrow to go through a training program focused on what, in my view, are the most fundamental problems confronting our world and our country today. I think a lot of the conversations have been about peace, conflict resolution, climate crisis, and so on. But if you look deeply into these issues, you would realize that beneath these issues are certain root problems that we need to deal with. And three of these problems are what we are here today and tomorrow to talk about. The issue of hate speech, the issue of mis- and disinformation, and the issue of polarizing narratives. These are interconnected issues, but looked carefully, we would know that they are separate issues. And I say they are so fundamental because without dealing with them, it becomes difficult to find a solution to any other problem. You cannot resolve conflicts when parties are polarized. You cannot resolve conflicts when there is a proliferation of mis- and disinformation. You cannot resolve conflicts and build peace when communities are engaged in hateful content and hateful dialogue all the time. And so to be able to resolve conflicts, to be able to build a peaceful democracy, to be able to build a peaceful country, we need to deal with the challenges of misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and this whole hydra-headed problem of polarization. Now, the concept of polarization, as they say, is difficult to define, but certain fundamental features have been established. For example, they say it is so centrifugal, such that you don't find parties being able to come together and find a common ground. It's about two poles. You choose to be at that pole, or you must be at that pole. It is about identity. So it's all about where do I belong? And whether right or wrong, I identify with that group. It's mostly about who rather than what. So today in our country, if you are an NDC person, whatever you say makes sense to NDC people. If you are an NPP person, whatever you say appears to make sense to NPP people. So it's not about what you say, it's about who you are, which is a big problem. So much so that you journalists, when you do your report and it exposes a certain wrongdoing, it is not about interrogating the ethical propriety or the professional way you did your report. It is about, is this journalist likely going to be an NDC person or likely an NPP person? So it is not the issue that people are looking at. And as I said, without dealing with these issues comprehensively, it will be a problem to deal with all the other issues that we are talking about, whether we're talking about climate change, forests. Must we give forest reserves for mining as is happening? Well, it depends on who gave it out. If it is NPP officials who are giving it out, NPP folks will say it is okay. If that doesn't, the NDC folks will say it is okay. Or at least, even if they want to interrogate it a bit, all this is why we imply it. And so these are the territory. Now, studies that have been done shows that there are three phases. One is dialogue, discussions, and consensus building. Two is fact-based conversations and narratives. And the third, and at least the first two, are things that, as journalists, we do have an important role to play in realizing that conversations, dialogues, consensus building. I think that's all that we do in terms of facilitating conversations, getting people to talk to each other. And if we are conscious about that these issues that are polarizing us, Fulani herders and farmers, NPP, NDC, Muslim, Christian, this ethnic group that to foster consensus building. So building, so that people begin to look at issues rather than looking at who is saying, are you a Gabova or you are this? Are you a Gotokoli or you are a Chamba? And so on. These are things as journalists we have to try and get. It goes on every time, and if we are not careful, we are the ones who will even expand the scope. And therefore, it is important as journalists to be mindful that, first of all, we have a responsibility not to perpetrate in them or perpetrate them. But secondly, we cannot shy away from, if we want to do our work and do it well, and if we want to serve our nation. As my colleague Kojo had said, there was something that was expected of you. And it wouldn't be that we would continue to act. We would do our part as journalists so that collectively we would be making our contribution towards national stability, democratic consolidation, the peace that we all want, and the development. When there is no peace, there cannot be development. When there is no consensus, there cannot be development. And so we all hopefully will play our role in ensuring that we do the best that we can to keep our nation going. I want to conclude by something that is unrelated, and that is about the fourth estate work that we are doing. I think we have always said that one of the biggest challenges for journalists in this part or many parts of the country is the issue of resources. Not having money to go to the fields to do the work that you have to do. Whether it is stories related to this conversation or any other story that you consider important, if you reach out to my colleagues at the foundation, and of course, even myself, I'm sure if we find the story idea very interesting, important, and doable, we would be able to sometimes extend the necessary resources to enable you to do the work that you want to do. And so once again, I want to thank you very much for your time and for agreeing to be with us this morning, and to thank our bosses from NCCE and the National Peace Council for making time with us this morning, and to also Steve for agreeing to come with us all the way from Accra to support us in this training. So once again, thank you very much, and I wish all of us a very wonderful 2-day celebration. Thank you.